Listen to how they talk about their ex. You just might be next. They sit across from you, laughing. Their words spill out easy, too easy, and they start talking about their ex. She was absolutely crazy. He was obsessed with me. They just couldn't handle me moving on. You nod politely. You laugh a little. It feels harmless, maybe even entertaining. But here's what you missed. They didn't just tell you about their ex. They just told you about themselves. And if you're not careful, if you don't pay attention, you might be next. We all want to believe we're the exception. We tell ourselves, that was in the past. I'm different. They've changed. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Most people don't change, not until they're forced to. And even then, some only change the mask, never the behavior underneath. So listen, not just to the story, but to how they tell it. Are they mocking? Are they angry? Do they talk like their ex was a villain in some drama they wrote themselves into as the hero? Because when someone can talk about a person they once loved with nothing but bitterness, that's not healing. That's not closure. That's a red flag, all dressed up as a funny story. She was so clingy. He wouldn't stop texting me. They were always crying over something. They say it like it's comedy, but you should hear the subtext, because when someone describes emotional vulnerability as too much, when someone rewrites another person's pain as an inconvenience, they're not telling you about the past. They're showing you their present capacity for empathy, or lack of it. Think about it. They once loved this person, shared secrets, made memories, probably said forever at least once, and now they talk about them like they're disposable, a joke, a cautionary tale, like someone beneath them. What do you think will happen when your chapter with them ends? When you're no longer new, no longer the favorite character in their story? You become the next cautionary tale, the next crazy one, the next person they talk about over coffee with someone else, laughing just a little too loud. Don't be fooled by charm. Don't confuse chemistry with character, because people reveal their patterns in the way they speak, especially when they don't think you're listening too closely. They say all my exes were toxic, but they never say what they did. They don't mention their own anger, their need to control, their fear of accountability. When the blame always falls in one direction, that's not a coincidence. That's a habit, and habits don't just disappear, they repeat. You want to know who someone really is? Watch how they talk about the people who are no longer useful to them, the ones who loved them, broke with them, and walked away. Are they bitter? Do they mock them? Do they weaponize past moments to win sympathy points? Or do they speak with grace? Do they acknowledge their part in the fall? Do they show signs that they've actually learned something? Because if they can't do that, if every ex is crazy, broken, obsessed, then either they have the worst luck in the world, or they're the common denominator. Let's flip it for a second. Think about someone you once loved. Would you want them dragging your name through the dirt, telling half-truths about your worst moments to make themselves look better? You wouldn't. So why would you excuse that behavior in someone else? Ask yourself, do they tell stories for insight or for entertainment? Do they reflect or do they deflect? Because someone who mocks their past will one day mock you. It's just a matter of time. And I know what you might be thinking. They're different with me. They've changed. They were just hurt. But remember, Every ex was once the you in someone else's life. Every ex once heard, "You're not like the others. I've never felt this way before. You make me better." And yet, here we are. So here's your sign. Pay close attention. Notice how they talk about their ex when they think you're comfortable, when they assume you're not analyzing what they're saying. Because behind every crazy ex story is a version they're not telling. And if you don't ask questions now, if you ignore that tightening in your chest, that uneasy feeling that something doesn't add up, you'll be the one trying to explain later, wondering how the same sweet voice now talks about you, like you were the problem all along. People show you their emotional maturity not when they love you, but in how they handle what's over. That's where the truth is. And if they're careless with it, if they can't hold the past with any level of respect, they won't hold you any differently. You are not the exception. You're just in the early chapters of the same book. So listen, really listen, to how they talk about the ones who came before you, because the stories they tell today may be the same stories they tell about you tomorrow. And when that day comes, you'll wish you had paid attention to the warning, because you were never the exception. You were just next.
Share your thoughts down below. Turn on that notification bell, like, share, and subscribe for more.